Welcome back, Food Cure. This is Mariella.
And this is Eric.
And I haven't started a show like that in forever.
Yeah, it's like
It's old school.
Old school.
But you know what? It's so cool. I just remembered that it is our podiversary.
It is.
This is it. Like, it's been 1 year of us podcasting together, doing this thing. And I'm so excited.
It's been a lot of fun.
It has been. And you said you listened to our first 2 episodes and they were super cringy and ridiculous.
Yeah, it's gotten a lot better.
I haven't done that yet, but
it's gotten a lot. You don't. Just don't.
Just don't. He says.
Don't do it.
This is progress.
It's a lot of progress, and our wonderful listeners have seen the progress because we've garnered more listeners, and they've seen the progress. But it's a little cringy. So if y'all want like a good cringe laugh, go back to episode like 1 through 10, 1 through 5, and you're like, oh shit.
Who are these fucking people lying to us?
Yeah. It was just like on a whim. It was just, it was kind of building the playbook as we go along.
Which we're still doing.
Right. Absolutely.
We're just better at it.
And so it's just kind of like, we were kind of like lost for a bit. They were like, we don't know what to do. But you've been the brains behind this whole thing, so I'm just talent. So you're the one behind it that's doing the hard work. Nah, I just show up once a week.
No, you do a lot of work behind the scenes. You cook up a lot of fucking cookies and you panic. And
I do. I'll fucking get shortbread correct one day.
Oh my God, I don't want to think about shortbread for a long fucking time. Okay.
No, we don't have to think about it for like another 9 months.
Let's get past spring and then we'll figure it out.
Yes, springtime. It's been feeling a little nice up here.
Has it?
Yes, I think today was in the 40s and 50s.
Nice.
So we got
That's cold.
60s coming for you, yeah.
That's Miami winter in that.
It is
range.
But it's been nice. It's gonna get a little warmer this week. It's gonna get cold again, actually, I think this weekend. But spring's only a couple days away. I think the first day of spring is March 16th.
Oh shit, is it?
I think so. I could be lying to you, but I think that's the first day of spring.
I mean, it wouldn't be the first time.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I lie on purpose, and sometimes I lie by accident.
Funny story. My daughter, we were talking about flipping people off in traffic, which sometimes I'm guilty of. And my daughter said, well, it's only okay if you flip off Uncle Keeter because that's just the way you guys communicate.
So if anybody wants to know.
Stop right there.
I'm just going to have to say it. I want the world to know about the time that you were behind my grandparents in like 1997, 1998. And of course, they're old. And so they're going slow on the road. And you zoom around them and flip them off and not realize it's my grandparents until you flip them off. And then you call me like whenever you get to whatever destination you were at, screaming that you flipped off Abba and Pampa.
I've been flipping people off since the 90s. It's a problem.
Yeah.
I'm actively trying to stop it.
You flipped off my grandparents.
But
like we talk about always, the good thing is they probably had no idea.
No, they were like, hello, young lady.
They're like, look how pretty. Look at her over there. It's Mariela. She's waving hello.
Probably. I could see that happening. Absolutely. So besides all that, we're talking about spring and I'm really kind of into it now. I don't know why, but I'm feeling spring.
It's a seasonal change for us. And I think, the most exciting part about seasonal changes is we start getting some bright ideas. And, it's really funny. I've never looked forward to summer. I hate summer, but doing this podcast and stuff like that, I really love like things like looking forward to the different food changes and the things that we get to do, even though spring and summer are actually my 2 most hated seasons.
I know. But you know what I do like? I do like eating lighter food. Don't you?
No, not really. But I like that the flavors really change. And I like the flavors are going to be a little more citrusy and it's going to be a little bit more. And we're going to find something to do with fucking lavender extract.
Oh, very soon. I'm going to buy it.
We're going to find something to do with that. But it's exciting to have a new season upon us. Mm-hmm. And the start of spring just means we're halfway there to fall again.
Hey, that's right. We're almost there. We're almost back at, what is that shit? Pumpkin spice.
Absolutely.
Everything.
Absolutely.
But today we're not there. Today we're making salmon because I feel like people really love fucking salmon.
You know what it is? It's like I feel it's like a very in food at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
So one, salmon's very good for you.
Right.
And two, there's a lot of great ways that you can flavor it.
Exactly.
And you can make it, it really takes on all its flavor. The thing with salmon also, it's a fatty fish.
And it's a quick cooking fish.
It's a quick cook fish. It's a fatty fish. So it's going to have, we all know that fat is the vessel of flavor.
Delicious. I'm a vessel of flavor.
Okay, we're both vessels of flavor. Before we get into this, what is your favorite way to eat salmon?
Okay, I like salmon like a little sweet.
Okay.
With like a honey or an Asian-y. I love Asian-y salmon. That's my favorite.
So I have two favorite ways I like salmon. Okay. So I love salmon sashimi or salmon sushi. And I'm a sushi purist. I don't like the rolls that are flavored or fried or
I love those
on them. I don't like those.
I like when the onions are like the fried onions. I love all that bastardized shit.
That's not onions. That's like bonito flakes.
No, there's some that have onion flakes.
Okay, well.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like all the bastardized bullshit sushi. I don't like that sushi that's still alive that has a heartbeat. That's not for me.
Heartbeat.
It's fucking gross. I like food that's cooked.
I love salmon that way. I like it raw. I will never prepare my own raw salmon. I'm going to leave that up to the professionals.
Oh, yeah.
And then my other favorite way to eat salmon is I love smoked salmon.
Me too. It's so good.
My favorite breakfast is a smoked salmon bagel with cream cheese, red onions, and capers.
Oh, so good.
It is so delicious.
So today we're making an air fryer salmon because I'm obsessed with the air fryer and I feel like it's the best way to cook anything really quickly and with the most char flavor. So you ready, Eric? I'm going to talk to you about this.
Let's do it. I want to hear your salmon.
And we have a bonus little recipe to serve with it. So you can make like an Asian noodle bowl with salmon on top, which is a dinner that you can make really quickly for yourself or your family. Ready?
Let's do it.
So this is what I like to do with my salmon. I like to buy a fillet and I like to chunk it up into big, fat, juicy cubes. And I put it into a bowl and I put a little bit of olive oil just to like make sure that whatever I put on it sticks. Oh, and this is so important. When you take it out of the package, make sure you dry it off with a paper towel. Otherwise, it's like got that slimy, juicy shit that everything comes with, you know, every animal that you buy to eat always has a weird whatever. And if you don't pat it dry, it won't brown up as nicely in the air fryer. That's a tip for any protein that you make. Even vegetables, honestly. Anything in the air fryer needs to be patted dry. Then I go ahead and I add the olive oil, a little shake of, the standbys, salt, pepper, onion, garlic powder. I put that in there. Then I just laid it on my air fryer pan and I air fried it at 400 for 6 minutes, right?
Nice.
I pulled it out and then I glazed it. Here's what the glaze is made out of. 1/3 of a cup of apricot preserves. You can really use anything you want. I was after orange, but I didn't have time to go find it. So I got apricot. Feel free to use whatever the fuck you want. You can buy a sugar-free preserve if you're looking at your sugar count, whatever it is that you like. Honestly, it doesn't matter. It's just sticky sweetness that you're looking for. So that, a tablespoon of brown sugar, more if you want more sugar. And then, Eric, I put in 2 cubes of the frozen ginger that comes like, all minced up or whatever in it. And I whisked it together. And then I glazed the salmon after I cooked for the initial 6 minutes on one side. I popped it back in 400 for 6 more minutes. Then I put it out. I turned it, glazed it again. And then I cranked it up to 450 for 5 minutes. This shit might smoke because, it's a lot of sugar. And you're putting it at 450, like maybe 3 nanoseconds away from the element that is creating heat. So it's going to be very close. And it might smoke around the parts that are not on the salmon. But what that's doing is creating those little charred corners that you want that have like all that sugary goodness from the preserves and the brown sugar. And this is quite literally the best salmon I think I've ever made. My kids ate it up. And they are fucking tough customers when it comes to salmon.
So first of all, a nanosecond is a measurement of time, not a measurement of space.
I knew you were going to say that.
Okay. Just to let you know that.
Tell me, scientist Eric.
I wanted you to know that. The other part, I forgot what I was going to insult you with, but
because you're an old ass bitch.
What did a friend call me the other day? I insulted him with something. He called me an old ugly queen. Like, what the fuck?
Damn, right into the jugular.
It was like right in my like right in the jugular. You think you old ugly queen? I'm like, whoa.
That may have hurt a little bit.
You sound like my friend Mariella.
Hey, man. Well, you sure it wasn't your friend Mariella? I don't know.
No, I'm most positive. I mean, you've called me, you never call me ugly. You've called me old queen many times, but ugly, probably not.
No. All right. So what do you make of this recipe?
I think it's delicious. But like, it sounds so good. So what I like about it is I like how the sugar caramelizes on there.
Yes.
And, you know, like we talk about, you know, it's going to soak up any flavor. I would be a little, I think, cautious in what type of like marmalade or preserve that you use, only because like I was thinking about other preserves in my head. And I don't think it would go well with like a raspberry or a cherry. Like,
because it has
I think
seeds.
it stays really good with like citrus or like apricot or like a peach, you know, that keeps that sweetness. But I think it sounds great.
It was good. Oh, and by the way, did I mention you add water to this until it gets to the consistency of like a ketchup for the glaze? Did I say that?
You did not.
Yeah. So when you're making the glaze, you need to add a little water to it. Otherwise it's too hard. Like you can't spread it. So you need to add a little bit of water.
I love this is in the air fryer too.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, and then the little chunks of salmon, they have so much surface area that you can't help but have crunch, you know, on the little ends. To me, it is the best way to eat salmon because I'm a little skittish when it comes to seafood. I am not that girl. I never have been. Like I eat salmon as an adult. As a child, I would absolutely never eat fish.
What do you buy like your cubes of like frozen ginger?
Okay, so I bought mine at Aldi this time, but they have it at Target. They have it at Trader Joe's. They literally have this everywhere.
Okay, so do me a favor. Don't ever make fun of me for buying pre-peeled tangerines ever again. Because you're purchasing cubes of frozen ginger, frozen garlic. Okay. So I don't
buy frozen garlic, but let me tell you why they're different. Because it takes literally 3 seconds to peel a tangerine, but to grate ginger and then cube it and put it in partitions and freeze it takes a hell of a lot longer to do.
Oh, you know what I'm hearing from you? Okay. What I'm hearing from you is hypocrisy.
No, I'm going to move on. Okay. So with this, I made noodles, right? Which I do for my kids all the time because they love Asian noodles. And I always make a very simple sauce for this, which I'm going to I don't ever measure this, but for your benefit, I'm going to give you like a spitball of what I do. Okay. I do half a cup of soy sauce, about 3 tablespoons of brown sugar, sometimes more because my kids like it sweet. Taste it. You can taste it when it's all mixed in. About 1 teaspoon of sesame oil, maybe more if you like it a little bit stronger. 1 healthy tablespoon of minced garlic, which you'd be proud of me. Today, I noticed that Trader Joe's is selling minced garlic in a jar, and I bought it.
Yeah, because it tastes better.
I don't think it tastes better, but it was definitely a hell of a lot more convenient, which is what I needed today because I was in a crunch just like you were today. Today was a busy day. So I popped that shit in there, and then you whisk it. Taste it, put your index finger in it and put it in your mouth and see, is that salty enough? Is it sweet enough to your liking? Okay. Then, you know what else I tried today? I saw on, what is that man's name? Christopher Kimball, that little old guy from Milk Street.
Ooh.
America's Test Kitchen, you know, like the guy with the glasses.
Maybe, I don't know.
Whatever. He's this fucking cooking guy, right? And he has all these amazing ideas most of the time. So he said that if you put a tablespoon of baking soda in your water when you're boiling your pasta, it creates a chewier texture closer to like a lo mein. I trusted Mr. Kimball and I did this, okay? It smelled funny. I'm not gonna lie. It fucking smelled funny. And I did use a pasta from Trader Joe's that I never use. I usually use Barilla, which I know is not a good pasta according to the pasta people, but I enjoy it. I don't know if it was the pasta or what, but I think it was too much baking soda. I was making this shit scared as fuck that my kids weren't going to eat it because I kept smelling this weird smell coming from the pasta. I rinsed it. The texture was in fact better. It was definitely more like an Asian noodle, chewier. The color was even a little bit deeper. It's kind of a cool thing. I do think next time I'll use half a tablespoon, but my kids ate it, y'all. I was so excited. My daughter ate the shit out of it too. She ate like 2 bowls of it. She had no idea. She was like,
wow, that's awesome.
She fucking loved it. So this is what I do. I boil the noodles. I rinse them. And then in a pan, I got a little bit of oil and then I just put the noodles in there and fried them up a little bit, warm them up. Cause remember I rinsed them. So they got a little bit cold. And then I added the sauce into it and you kind of just like zhuzh it around in there, like, you know, getting all saucy and letting the noodles absorb a little bit of that. And then I put in a cup of edamame, which my kids cannot get enough of. They love edamame. Isn't that weird?
Edamame is really good.
I mean, it is. It's healthy, but they love it. So that. And that was it. And then I put a nice little bed of those noodles into the bowl and I put the chunky salmon on top. And that was dinner. And it was really, really good and super nutritious.
That is a nutritious dinner. And, so I was thinking, so I could never have that much soy sauce. I would drop dead. I take a pill to get rid of the blood pressure spike.
The pressures.
I don't want to succumb to the pressure. So, as a substitute that I've always used, there is low sodium tamari.
Yeah.
So I think for something like that, like I don't like coconut aminos just because I find it to be too sweet.
Yeah.
I think coconut aminos is good as like a marinade for meats and stuff like that, but I think it's too sweet. So if you still want that salty soy sauce taste, go grab it's low sodium tamari. Tamari. There is a tamari that's not low sodium, and then there's a tamari that's low sodium. Get the low sodium tamari, makes a massive difference, and I do not taste any. And to me, it tastes identical to actual soy sauce, and that I think would be a good substitute if you're kind of watching your blood pressure and your salt
sodium.
Your sodium intake. But I think that sounds great. I like the idea of putting the brown sugar in there. Again, if you want to use a tamari, and you could probably use, like a keto brown sugar if you're, kind of concerned about sugar intake. But then again, you're also eating noodles at that moment, which it's going to probably turn to sugar anyways. But, if you're just kind of making those cuts, but I think that's great. And I think and you put the salmon on top of it.
Yeah. It was like a little noodle bowl.
Oh, it just all comes together too.
Yeah. Like that little sweetness with the saltiness and then the little edamame.
So the kids liked everything. What about you?
I loved the salmon. The noodles, everybody else liked them but me. I don't know if it was me, it was in my head. I can get like that. Like when I get the ick, I'm like, I don't want to eat it.
It's because you smelled it, because it smelled weird.
Yeah, there's something about the baking soda. I don't know.
Remember that one time that you claimed the meat smelled weird, and like at 8:30 at night, we had to go back out and get a whole new fucking different type of meat from a different grocery store chain even?
Yeah.
You did not trust that chain at all that weekend?
Yeah, I get the ick and I cannot fuck around. Like I can't get around it. It's in my head and it's hard for me to eat it. So it could be just me, because literally everyone else, they fucking loved it.
You're not a big noodle person though, are you?
Yeah, I mean, I love pasta. Pasta's delicious.
Oh, I don't think I've ever seen you eat a noodle.
I made spaghetti at your house, remember? Spaghetti with meatballs.
Yeah, that was good.
I know. Duh. Anyway. So that's our salmon recipe, which you guys are really after. And I think it's a little bit different. It's going to give you, or you can even serve this with rice if you wanted. I would eat it with rice and broccoli.
Rice sounds really good.
Right? That's what I was craving. When I saw the smelly noodles, I was like, fuck, man, I wish I had a little bit of rice just for me. That's what I wanted, honestly.
When you make the rice, you put like a teaspoon of the chicken bouillon in there.
Hell yeah, you do.
The Knorr chicken bouillon, you put that in there. It's so delicious.
I'm craving
a little pat of butter.
All my roots are coming out right now. I need some rice.
You sound like my mom.
I know.
It's like if you serve her noodles, she's going to ask you for rice.
I love rice. Anyhow, all right. This is our recipe. You're getting a twofer here because you're getting an entire meal that is super healthy and your kids will eat. At least mine will, which are bitching so much. Like,
I think the best test is when a kid eats it.
Agreed.
I think that's one of your kids do have a developed palate though. I mean, but I think that's a great test for them.
Yeah, my kid was just bitching at me that, Mom, I haven't eaten McDonald's in over 2 weeks. I'm like,
let's go for 3.
Isn't that great? No, Mom. So she's my biggest fan.
I love that.
All right, you guys, we hope you enjoyed this episode and that you make this recipe. Don't forget to share it with your friends and leave us a review in your favorite podcast player. Sorry about my voice. I had lost it, but now it is found, but it sounds funny.
And it sounds beautiful, Mariella.
Thank you. And thank you for being my partner in food for a whole year and in life.
I love it because, like I said, I love that we get to spend time together. It's like scheduled time that we get to hang out because we've never had that before. We've always had like our chaotic lives in separate directions, especially when I moved out of Miami 15 years ago this year, by the way.
Insane.
And, so I think it's really nice I get to spend that time with you. That's one thing that's really special to me. And I'm glad that we get to share a relationship with everybody else in the world and they could hear our quirky relationship that we have with one another.
I'm going to cry and then flip you off right after.
That's exactly how it works. But not my grandparents, though. They're no longer with us. So,
Oh my God. Shit. Did you have to go there? Like I flipped off your deceased grandparents?
Well, I mean, they weren't deceased at the time, but I hope you thought about that. Okay. When we were at their funeral. So I hope you thought about that.
Okay. Okay. You guys, we love you.
Okay. Bye.
Have a wonderful day. We'll see you next
Bye-bye.
time.